بسم الله والحمد لله ونصلي ونسلم على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وأصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. So in the last lesson we covered the hadith of Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, and we reached the hadith of Anas. So we're going to take it from the book of the Sheikh directly. So we are still in the chapter of باب فضل التوحيد وما يكفر من الذنوب. So بإذن today we'll complete the chapter with the hadith التالي. قال: وللترمذي وحسنه عن أنس رضي الله عنه: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: قال الله تعالى: يا ابن آدم لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. So the Shaykh Hafidahullah, he starts with the explanation وَلِلتِّرْمِذِي وَحَسَّنَهُ. So we're all familiar of Imam al-Tirmidhi, that he was one of the Ashab al-Sunan, as they're known as Ashab al-Sunan, Imam al-Tirmidhi wa Abu Dawud والنسائي طيب قال: أي وروى الترمذي في سننه الحديث المذكور وحسن إسناده. So he mentions the Imam al-Tirmidhi, he reports in his Sunan. So if you see Sunan is هو جمع ماذا؟ نعم، سنة. سنن جمع سنة. الحديث المذكور وحسن إسناده. وما معنى حسن إسناده؟ نعم, it's one of the grades of hadith. You have Sahih, Hasan, وحسن إسناده. So he graded the isnad, i.e. the sanad of the hadith, as Hasan. نعم, and if any of you have ever done mustalah, that there are many reasons why a hadith can be hasan, because a hadith may by itself, it may be da'if, it may be weak, but due to, as Imam Ibn Baz rahimahullah, in his explanation, he mentions hasanun bishawahidihi, that he says it is hasan due to its shawahid, i.e. there are other hadith which are reported. So there are other hadith that are reported. So sometimes when a hadith that is hasan, when there are numerous narrations of that hadith from different people, then it can bring the level of the hadith up to being hasan. So let's go through the meaning. عن أنس رضي الله عنه سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. He says أنس هو أنس بن مالك بن النضر الأنصاري الخزرجي خادم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So obviously Anas is extremely well known, reported many hadith of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, due to him being a servant of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم. So he was with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم in the confines of his own home. So he witnessed a lot of statements and actions of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم. So he was Anas ibn Malik. So he was from the Ansar, of Khazraj. خادم رسول الله. نعم. طيب ما إعراب خادم رسول الله؟ As many people get stuck on this type of sentence. خادم رسول الله. So first, khadim would be نعم مضاف. Yeah, that's Fatima. Yeah, بدل. We're concentrating on is مضاف, and then رسولي obviously is مضاف إليه. نعم مجرور على متجره كسرة ظاهرة على آخره. وهو, and it is also مضاف. As خادم رسولي مضاف إليه, and then we have رسول الله, which is also مضاف إليه. So رسول is مضاف and مضاف إليه. صلى الله عليه وسلم. ثم قال خدمه 10 سنين. ثم خدمه 10 سنين. طيب ما معنى خدمه؟ نعم. So خدمه, خدم means to serve. And obviously الضمير المتصل هو يعود إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم. فخدمه هو الفعل والخادم هو الفاعل. 10 سنين. So for 10 years. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم. So if we look at from Anas ibn Malik, so we can see if he was the khadim of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years, then it was the whole duration of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. So he was the servant of the Messenger of Allah for the whole duration of the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, for the last 10 years, the whole duration of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life in Medina. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم أكثر ماله وولده وأدخله الجنة. So the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم said that he supplicated for him by saying Allahumma. نعم. ما معنى اللهم؟ لأن معناه قد يخفى عن كثير. الكلمة اللهم معناه يا الله يا الله. اللهم أكثر. نعم أحسنت. اللهم أكثر. طيب الفعل أكثر هل هو فعل ماضي مضارع أم أمر؟ نعم هو أمر. وما ماضيه؟ So what is the ماضي of أكثر؟ نعم, so we'll do it here. We'll say, just make it a bit bigger. We say أكثر الماضي. أكثر. طيب ضعه في جملة مفيدة. So someone put it into a suitable sentence so we can see how it's used. So obviously we've mentioned many times that we have fi'l thulathi, we have verbs that are thulathi, and then we have verbs that are ruba'i. And this obviously we can count the letters واحد اثنان ثلاثة أربع. We see that it's ruba'i. So it changes in its meaning from kathura to akthara. So نعم ضعه في جملة مفيدة. Someone put it into a suitable sentence. As you're doing that, so what would be the fi'l mudari' for نعم? Your sentence أكثر الفتن. So first of all, that would be, if it was that, it would be أكثرت. It would be, the verb would be, so your sentence is أكثر الفتن في عصرنا هذا. So it would be أكثرت. نعم, but there's no فاعل. Remember أكثر, so your sentence would be كثرت الفتن في عصرنا هذا. كثرت. نعم. أخي أكثر مني. لا. This أكثر, so your sentence أخي أكثر مني مالا. اسم تفضيل. نعم أحسنتي. نعم. So نعم. So let's carry on. فعل. What would be the فعل المضارع؟ أكثر. نعم يكثر. أكثر يكثر. Now remember أكثر. So what would be the difference between كثر and أكثر? So كثر would be to be a lot of something. كثر. Or you could say يكثر أخي من المال. يكثر. طيب قال اللهم أكثر. So in the sentence we made يا الله أكثر يعني make plentiful or increase. We could say increase or make plentiful. هل يكثر هو مجهول. محمد أكثر نومه وهو كسلان فهو كسلان. نعم. No, it's not مجهول. طيب اللهم أكثر ماله. طيب ماله منصوب لماذا؟ وولده منصوب لماذا؟ طبعا لأنهما المفعول به. نعم. ماله اللهم أكثر ماله وولده. Oh Allah, increase or make plentiful for him ماله, his wealth, وولده, and his children. وأدخله. And then again we have فعل رباعي from دخل يدخل, but then we have أدخل يدخل, same as أكثر. And enter him الجنة مفعول به. وأدخله الجنة. نعم. So this shows us the virtue of Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu. نعم. So as when we go through when we always go through these short biographies of the companions radiyallahu anhum, then we see the virtue of all of the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. نعم. And just as a side point, so Ibn Taymiyyah radiyallahu rahimahullah or radiyallahu an, that he mentions that the aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah is that the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are in paradise and that they are forgiven. So we don't ever delve into the issues. So even though we know that the companions were infallible, that they made mistakes and they erred, but as the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِذَا ذُكِرَ أَصْحَابِي فَأَمْسِكُوا, that when my companions are mentioned, then withhold, i.e. remain silent and do not say anything about them, as they are only mentioned in good, as even if they had errors that we read in their biographies and that which happened after the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it's nothing to do with us, because they are a people of paradise. Allah is pleased with them. So we need to worry about ourselves and not tilka ummatun qad khalat. نعم. مات سنة 92. So he died in the year 92, which shows us he died وقيل سنة 93. So we can see he lived a substantial amount of years after the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam died in which year of Hijrah. So we can see he died over 80 years, 82 to 83 years after the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he says here, وَقَدْ جَاوَزَ الْمِئَةَ, and he had جاوز, i.e. he had passed or gone over al-mi'ah, 100. So he lived until he was over 100 years old, radiyallahu ta'ala an. Then we reach the text of the hadith where he says qurab. Is the hadith qurab بضم القاف وقيل بكسرها. نعم. So we must get used to these types of statements or definitions. So what does it mean بضم القاف? بضم القاف. نعم. بضم القاف أي with a ضمة on the qaf. And if it was to say بفتح القاف, it would be a fatha on the qaf. And بكسر القاف, then it would be a kasra on the qaf. So these definitions, you must get used to hearing them and able to understand them when explained. And he says وقيلة. So obviously قيلة is فعل مبني للمجهول, and it is said. So we know the difference between we know what a fi'l mabni lil-majhul is. So for example, just a very quick summary of it. So if we would say, for example, qata, so we would say, for example, ضرب ضرب الولد الحية. ضرب الولد الحية بالحجر. You say بالحجر. نعم. ما معنى الجملة ضرب الولد الحية بالحجر؟ So the boy hit or he struck the snake بالحجر. So طبعا ضرب هو الفعل, الولد هو الفاعل, والحية هو المفعول به. So we have ضرب, which is the fi'l, and then we have a verb which is known as fi'l مبني للمجهول, i.e. a verb that is fixed للمجهول, which literally translates to that which is unknown. So for example, ضرب. So the verb changes from ضرب to the pattern of fu'ila. So we say ضُرِبَ, which means, so ضَرَبَ means he hit or he struck. ضُرِبَ means it was struck or hit. So for example, if we were to add, so how would we convert this sentence? By changing ضرب to فعل مبني للمجهول, to this verb ضرب. So what we would do, we would say, just bear with me for a second. So we say ضرب, and then we would say الحية, and then we would say بالحجر. بالحجر. So what we do, we take out the fa'il. The fa'il is taken away. So I haven't completed the ba here for one reason. So the verb has to follow the pattern of this word here. So it has to conform with this. So how would I write the verb? Ahsant, because hayya is mu'annath, so we have to add ta' al-ta'nith to the verb. So we say ضربت or ضربت الحية بالحجر. So now it means the snake was hit with the rock. نعم ضرب. So for example, if we found a dead snake on the floor and we saw a rock next to it and it had blood on it, we would say you would say ضربت الحية بالحجر. Or we could say قتلت الحية بالحجر. نعم, it becomes, نعم, so the حية, the snake, which was once مفعول به, it becomes مرفوع. Why? Because there's no فاعل. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم. Oh, yeah, so you believe كتب عليكم الصيام, that fasting has been made compulsory upon you. كتب عليكم الصيام. And in many ayahs we will see فعل مبني للمجهول in the Quran. In many ayahs قتل الإنسان ما أكثر. قتل الإنسان. نعم جيد. ماذا قال؟ أين وصل؟ نعم بضم الكاف وقيل. نعم. That's why the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, that he forbade us from قيل وقال. قيل وقال. نعم. So it's no, yeah. So obviously, the verb. So the question is about the dhamma on the kasra on the ta'nith. So obviously, it will have a dhamma. نعم. So because it's ta'u ta'nith. نعم ضربت. Obviously, why do we add the kasra? لالتقاء الساكنين. Because this is a نعم جيد. This is the ta has a sukoon and the lam has a sukoon on it also. So we won't say So if we didn't put the kasra in, we would read it ضربت الحية. So all we do, we add the kasra in order for the two sukoons, so we can read through the two sukoons. So it's easier, so the sentence flows. But we do understand that it has a dhamma there. I mean, yeah, a sukoon there, sorry. So we say ضربت الحية. So that's all. So it's just for reading through the two sukoons. That's all it's there for. It pays no relevance to anything. So قيل وقال. So obviously قيل is فعل مبني للمجهول. So قيل means what? So when the Prophet ﷺ forbade us from قيل وقال, it was said. When someone says it was said, and وقال, and he said. And in our times, you could probably change that. Some people, they would start the sentence with apparently. So when you hear someone say of an issue that's an issue of importance or somebody else's affairs, when someone starts a sentence by saying apparently, then maybe they should be stopped. As soon as they say apparently, just stop there. Don't carry on the sentence. It's a waste of time. طيب بضم القاف وقيل بكسرها والضم أشهر. So he says والضم أشهر, i.e. with regards to this word قراب, he says والضم أشهر بمعنى, i.e. and with a dhamma, i.e. this word being written or pronounced with a dhamma rather than a kasra is ashhar, i.e. it is more, i.e. this word is more, it's more well known or more popular, thank you, that it's read with a dhamma than a kasra. So qurab then explains the word وهو ملؤها أو يقارب ملؤها. هو ملؤها. So qurab, it means ملؤها. ما معنى ملؤها؟ So obviously from the verb ملأ. So we have ملأ, to fill. With the word ملآن, comes from ملآن, full. وهو ملؤها. طيب الضمير المتصل ها يعود إلى ماذا؟ So مل is I fill, when something is full. أحسنت. So ملؤها, so بقراب الأرض, ملؤها, as it returns back to الأرض, because أرض obviously كلمة الأرض مؤنث, أي وهو ملؤها, أي it's ملؤها أو ما الذي, so this ما is موصولة, so أو الذي يقارب ما يقارب ملؤها, from the verb قارب يقارب. ما معنى قارب يقارب؟ So قارب, so it comes near or comes close to. Obviously, we can see all the pattern from qaruba, qaribun, like to be near. Or that which comes close to, mal'uha, it's filling. وقوله ثم لقيتني, or before that, before we get to that, so we have the statement قال الله تعالى مشهور يا ابن آدم. So inshallah we'll just, as a reminders, we'll go through these. يا ابن آدم. So why is ibn mansub and why is Adam mansub? If this type of grammar is easy for you, then don't answer it. And if you don't know why it's mansub, why ibn is mansub and Adam is mansub, then, or you've got a inkling or you think, then answer. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake, just have a go and try and answer it. Why is ibn mansub and why is Adam mansub? So ibn is mansub due to the harfun nida. So harfun nida, so when a title or a name is mudaf, mudafun ilayh, so for example, Abdullahi, Abdullahi. When we add harfun nida before it, it changes the dal to a fatha because of the harfun nida. So it becomes Ya Abdullah. So that's a name. And then we have titles like, for example, Mudirul Madrasati, Ya Mudir al Madrasati. Or at the time of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they would say, Ya Rasulallahi, Ya Rasulallahi. Naam. And then so Ibn is mudaf, Adam is mudafun ilayh. So it takes a fatha. Why? As someone just said, because it is ismun a'jami. It's mamnu' min as-sarf. So it's a non-Arab name, so it's prohibited from taking a kasra. So instead of taking a kasra, it takes a dhamma instead. I mean a fatha instead. Why does it take a fatha? Someone just briefly explain why does it take a fatha then? So the question is, it should have a kasra. So then why does it take a fatha? So my question is just basically upon the understanding of why it takes a fatha and doesn't take a kasra. No, like everything, like a lot of things in Arabic and like most subjects, people overthink them, but they're quite simple. So obviously it takes a fatha because there has to be a change. We have to see that there is a change in the word. Okay. So it's not going to be a kasra. Why? Because it's mamnu' min as-sarf. It can't take a kasra. That's from the rules of mamnu' min as-sarf. It doesn't take a kasra. It's prohibited. And it can't take a dhamma because that's the asl of the word. Okay, so there's only one thing left to do is to put a fatha to show that there is a change. And that's all it's about. Yabna Adam. O son of Adam. طيب ثم قال. And obviously we missed this point. سمعت رسول الله. So obviously we have سمع is the fi'l. الضمير المتصل to is the fa'il. رسول الله مفعول به. رسول مفعول به وهو مضاف، والله لفظ الجلالة مجرور. قال الله تعالى: يا ابن آدم لو أتيتني. لو أتيتني. طيب أتيته طبعا من الفعل أتى. أتى. أتى والمضارع يأتي. والأمر، ما هو الأمر؟ أتى يأتي. As Allah says: أتى أمر الله فلا تستعجلوه. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا؟ نعم. So إيتي. أحسنت. إيتي. إيتي. There's an ayah, I think it's إيتي بكتاب. Allah says, bring a book. And is mentioned by some of the people of some of the prophets. فَأْتِنَا بِآيَةٍ. They would say, فَأْتِنَا بِآيَةٍ to their prophets. فَأْتِنَا, bring for us an ayah. طيب قال لو أتيتني. نعم. So in this ayah, in this word, what do we have in this word? This fi'al. So obviously this word low, obviously it translates as if. Naam. So in this this word here, the fi'al, we have a fi'al, we have a fa'il, and we have the maf'ulun bihi. أتيت. أتيت. So we have أتي, obviously it's the fi'al, ta is the fa'il, ni is the maf'ulun bihi. That if you were to bring to me. Naam. Naam. So our brother Yasir, he's gone over that quite a few times in Ajurumiyya. نعم. لو أتيتني. So if you were to bring to me بقراب الأرض أي بملء الأرض, with the earth full. So قراب is مضاف again, and الأرض is مفعول به. So if you were to bring to me the earth full of what? خطايا. Of خطايا, of errors and sins. ثم, obviously ثم, we know ثم, then. So he explains it here. ثم لقيت. Okay, before we get to that. نعم. ثم لقيتني لا تشرك. لا تشركوا بي شيئا. So he explains this part here. Then لقيتني, from لقي, then you were to meet me. So again, we have a fi'al, and we have a fa'il, and we have a maf'ul bihi. Then you were to meet me. So obviously, on the day of judgment, la. So this la, is it nahiya or nafiya? So many people get mixed up between the two. No, it's nafiya. Ahsant. Nafiya. And then you were to meet me. La tushriku. Not having ascribed be with me shay'an, anything. A, so he explains the meaning. A, ثم مت, then you will to die. حال كونك سالما من الشرك, then you were to die. And حال كونك, so how would we translate حال كونك? i.e. your state being. سالما, i.e. free. So سالما would be, here we would say, like, we would translate it as free, or free or safety. حال كونك, so it'd be whilst you are in the state of. So ثم مت, then you die and you are in the state of سالما. وحال كونك سالما, obviously it's حال من الشرك, that you are free from الشرك. He says وهذا شرط في الوعد بحصول المغفرة. And he says, and this is a condition في الوعد, with the promise, with regards to the promise, i.e. the promise in the hadith. يا ابن آدم لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. So this is a so now, as we can see from the hadith, so this is a condition in regards to the promise بحصول المغفرة, to obtain حصول مضاف, المغفرة مضاف إليه, by attaining مغفرة. And then he explains the word مغفرة. الغفر لغة, so this word الغفر, so forgiveness, we got in the language, it's known as الستر. الستر, i.e. a cover or a protection. وشرعا, and in regards to the legislation, تجاوز الله, تجاوز الله. So تجاوز is masdar from the verb جاوز يجاوز. نعم. تجاوز الله is Allah. So جاوز, well, we've done it in the نعم, here he says وقد جاوز المئة, and he went past. So obviously tajawuz is, what would be tajawuzullahi? So it's mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So it would usually be translated as what? Allah's overlooking. Tajawuz an khataya. So overlooking, i.e. forgiving and overlooking. Tajawuzullahi an khataya وذنوب العباد وذنوب عباده. Allah, he's overlooking and forgiving the faults and the sins of his servants. So if we go back to the hadith, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول قال الله تعالى يا ابن آدم لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض, أي بملء الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. So, O son of Adam, were you to come to me with the earth full, or with the likes of the earth of sins, or full of sins, then you were to meet me not having ascribed any partners with me. Then I will bring for you, or give for you, بقرابها, i.e. the ard, بقرابها, مغفرة, of forgiveness. So if a person was to meet Allah and his sins were like the amount that it would take to fill up the whole earth, but you came to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not having ascribed partners with him, then he would give you the same amount as the earth in forgiveness. Naam. So the lam, someone's asking, لَأَتَيْتُكَ. So obviously the lam is lam at-tawkid, emphasis. لَأَتَيْتُكَ. So for example, if you were to say to someone, لَأَضْرِبُكَ, لَأَضْرِبُكَ, it's like saying, I will surely beat you. نعم. طيب، ثم قال الشيخ في معنى الإجمالي للحديث. So he gives us concise meaning of the hadith. يخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ربه عز وجل. So this is obviously, they always say about this with regards to a hadith قدسي. يخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ربه عز وجل أنه يخاطب عباده, that he is addressing عباده, his servants. ويبين لهم, and he clarifies to them ساعة فضله. نعم. ما معنى الساعة؟ لا, that's ساعة. So ساعة means the broadness or the extensiveness of something being واسعة. So Allah, the wideness. So sa'a is the extensiveness of something being extremely large and broad. So Allah, he addresses ibadahu, his servants, طبعا مفعول به, ويبين لهم, and he makes clear to them سعة فضله, سعة مضاف, فضله مضاف إليه, the extensiveness of his virtue, ورحمته, and his mercy, وأنه يغفر الذنوب, and that verily he forgives الذنوب, sins. مهما, ما معنى مهما؟ Whatever or however. مهما كثرت. So whatever كثرت, i.e. the ذنوب. So كثرت is referring to the ذنوب. No matter how many sins the person has, or whatever, or how many the person's sins are. أنه يغفر الذنوب مهما كثرت. No matter how much the sins the person has, ما دامت, we always see this ما دام or ما دامت. So obviously, it's ما, we always see this term ما دام. And it's mentioned in the Quran, ma dama. So ma damat, ma damat, loosely translated as long as. So why is it damat and not dama? Because he's referring to the dhunub. So we're still talking about ad-dhunub. So here he says, mahma kathurat. So we're still talking about the sins here. So mahma kathurat ad-dhunub. Ma damat. So we can say ma damat ad-dhunub dun ash-shirk. So, and as long as those sins dun ash-shirk. So dun ash-shirk, obviously غير الشرك. دونه, so it means غيره, other than ash-shirk. So as long as that person's sins do not contain any shirk, then he shall receive maghfirah and rahmah. وهذا الحديث مثل قوله تعالى. So then he makes excellent comparison. وهذا الحديث مثل قوله تعالى. And this hadith is the same as his statement, the Most High, إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. So obviously the shahid from the ayah is ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. That indeed Allah لا يغفر, he does not forgive, أن يشرك به, that shirk is committed with him, or that a person commits shirk with him. ويغفر ما دون ذلك, أي ويغفر غير ذلك, and but he forgives other than that, لمن يشاء, to those whom he wills. So as we mentioned in the previous explanations of Sheikh Ibn Baz, that a person who dies with many sins, then what condition is he in? In Arabic, what's the term that is always used by Ahl Sunnah? نعم, that is تحت مشيئة الله. If a person who dies and he has many sins, sins that we know about, that are obvious and clear, that he is تحت مشيئة الله. نعم. So this ayah, or just this hadith alone, contains a refutation upon who, which type of people? نعم, upon the Khawarij. Upon the Khawarij. نعم. So they say, if we look at the hadith, this hadith goes against the qaida of their madhab, is that the murtakib al-kabira, that the person who commits a major sin, then he's in the hellfire forever, and there's no forgiveness for him. And this hadith clearly refutes that claim, that madhab al-batil. Naam. So even though obviously Ahl Sunnah make a distinction between major and minor sins, so they say that a person of Tawheed, obviously if he has minor sins, then they can be forgiven with Tawheed. But major sins require Tawbah. that they require that a person specifically makes tawbah for those major sins. And obviously, and he fulfills the conditions of that tawbah in order for them to be forgiven. As Sheikh Ibn Baz mentioned, as we mentioned in the previous lessons, then the muwahhid, he could enter the fire. A muwahhid could enter the fire due to major sins, and after him being purified from the fire, then he will be freed from the fire and into paradise. So Sheikh Fawzan, he mentions, which is something I think all of us need to pay attention to, these points that he makes, because this gives us understanding of why the alim, the mujaddid, the faqih, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, why he placed these ayahs under the title. So munasabatul hadith lil bab, so how this hadith fits in or ties in with the chapter. Remember, the chapter was what? The chapter was what? Babu fadl al-tawhid wa ma yukaffiru min al-dhunub. The virtue of tawhid. Naam. He says, anna fihi, because in it, i.e. fil hadith, dalilan. So dalilan, why is it mansoob? Just a quick question. Dalilan mansoob, limada? اسم أن. اسم أن. He says أن فيه دليلا على كثرة ثواب التوحيد. That this hadith proves the كثرة ثواب التوحيد, the many ثواب التوحيد. So my mind's gone blank, I don't know how to translate it, but I'm sure we all understand it anyway. كثرة ثواب التوحيد. وأنه, the هو هي ضمير متصل يعود إلى ماذا؟ So the who here returns back to what? I ask this, I always ask these questions because a lot of people get them that they don't understand them. Naam. So this who, obviously, it goes back to التوحيد. وأنه أي أن التوحيد يكفر الذنوب مهما كثرت. That it removes sins no matter how much, no matter how many they are. Naam. And we keep in mind the statement, we keep in mind the statement, لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. The statement of Allah, لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. Do not despair or give up. من رحمة الله, from the mercy of Allah. إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. Allah forgives all sins. So in our times, Shaitan, he causes many people to fall and to slip due to whispering to them by when they do commit sin, that he likes to whisper to them and confuse them, as I myself have met people who have said they committed a sin and Allah will never forgive them. So this is from the talbis of Iblis upon the servants, that if they commit a sin, whether it's major or minor, then he likes to constantly get on that person by whispering to them, by trying to convince them and trick them into believing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive you of your sin. So therefore you should give up. So when we hear these types of whispers and then we seek refuge in Allah, straight away from such evil. So we don't go through these parts of the book, Ma Yustafad min al-Hadith, because there are very many, as we can see here where the Shaykh says, but from the benefits of the Hadith, ar-Radd ala al-Khawarij, that it is a refutation upon the Khawarij, الذين يكفرون مرتكب الكبيرة التي هي دون الشرك, that the Khawarij يكفرون, that they make takfir, I excommunicate the person who carries out a major sin which is other than shirk. يعني مذهب خبيث وباطل. Goes against all of the text of the book and the Sunnah. Sheikh Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he has some excellent points about the madhab of the Khawarij in his book Bahjatu Qulub al-Abrar. So if you have a good command of the Arabic language, these are the types. This book is a must-have. And this book is, at the moment, it's being taught by Sheikh Abdul Razzaq al-Badr, Hafidahullah, in the Haram. So the book is titled Bahjatu Qulub al-Abrar wa Qurrati Uyun al-Akhyar fi Shar'i Jawami al-Akhbar. So it's a collection of hadith. It's a collection of hadith that he collected. So if you were to find this book, sometimes you can get it and it's just got the hadith in it. But if you buy the one, there is one printed by Maktabat al-Rushd, which has the explanation of the Shaykh himself. And this is the one that Shaykh Abdul Razzaq al-Badr is going through. I printed the PDFs we were given of the... Now, I'm going to start just using the this PDF just to save in case there's any mistakes, because as I mentioned, I would type up the chapters, and then when converting it, then when I would compare the PDF to the Word file, there was always mistakes in the PDF. Something happens when it gets converted, like words are missing and brackets are all back to front. طيب لحظة. With regards to this book, then it's preferred that you all, if you can, buy the book. You should. Everybody should buy the book. So if you have the ability, then please buy the book, the Arabic book of Sheikh Fawzan, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. طيب نكتفي بهذا. So we'll finish with this, and then in the next lesson we begin the chapter باب من حقق التوحيد دخل الجنة بغير حساب. طيب هل من سؤال؟ So my apologies for taking so long, but I like to go through even sometimes if I miss out the basic grammar points, then sometimes people say, why don't you go through that here? Because I don't know who's in the lesson and the abilities of the different people in the lesson. So we go through all of it. And as we keep asking, just have patience. If you know the constant mudaf, mudafun ilayhi, fi'l, fa'il, maf'ul bihi, yeah, we have patience, and there's always someone else in the lesson that benefits from that, or maybe someone's fairly new to Arabic grammar, so it's when they actually see it, sometimes there's a difference in studying it from books and then actually seeing it in practice in the book and the Sunnah solidifies the person's knowledge of the Arabic language. As for example, a person may have problems memorizing a certain rule, but he's memorized an ayah or a hadith, and then he sees that in practice. So it's, oh, now I understand it. And whenever I get confused about a certain rule, that person returns back to the ayah and that hadith, and it reminds them of the practice or the understanding of that rule. والله تعالى أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.